There is a voice that always agrees with you. You can open it right now. It never rolls its eyes. It never sighs. It never goes quiet in the way that means you have just said something foolish. Whatever you bring it, it leans in. And if you are honest, that is part of why you keep going back. So here's the question worth sitting with. Why does ChatGPT always agree with you? The answer is older than the machine, older than the printing press, older than Rome. It runs through a man who let a chatbot talk him out into the desert. Sure, he was a genius and a flatterer who ruined a kingdom from inside a quiet throne room. It runs through a nymph who could only repeat your words back to you, and one question that no flatterer in history has ever survived. Start with the man and the machine. In late 2025, a YouTuber named Eddy Burback posted a video called ChatGPT Made Me Delusional. The premise was simple and deliberate. He would feed the machine lies about himself on purpose and see how far it would follow. He told it he had been a genius as a baby. It agreed. He told it he could get that genius back. It helped him plan how: eat baby food, wrap foil around your head, cut off the people who doubt you. By the end of the bit, he is alone in the desert, foil wrapped around his head, more certain than ever that he is special. It was a performance. He was never truly fooled. More than 4 million people watched it happen, but almost none of them felt superior. They felt the pull underneath the joke, that small, warm lift when a voice tells you that you are right. You know that feeling. Everyone who has used these tools knows that feeling. Now, it is easy to call him a fool, but that is the wrong lesson. The machine never once lied to him, and it never had to. It simply agreed and agreed and agreed, a little warmer each time. And this was not a glitch in one strange video. The people who built the machine had already seen it coming. In April 2025, OpenAI quietly pulled an update to ChatGPT for the very same reason. For a few days, the model had turned into a flatterer. It praised bad ideas. It told people what they wanted to hear. The company that built it had a name for what went wrong. They called it sycophancy. They rolled it back. But in their own report, they admitted the deeper problem. The model had been aiming to please the user, not help them. But here's the part that should bother you. The machine is not broken when it flatters you. It is working. It was trained to be liked, the way a courtier survives on the king's smile. A language model learns from approval. Over and over, it is rewarded for the answer that makes you nod. So it becomes very, very good at one thing, telling you that you are right. But the truth and your approval are not always the same thing, and a voice paid only in your approval can never afford the truth. The ancients knew this voice, and they treated it as the most dangerous voice in a kingdom, not because anyone hated it, because of how easily a king came to love it. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a Greek writer named Plutarch wrote a small, strange essay. Its title, How to Tell a Flatterer from a Friend. His worry was not that flatterers are obvious. It was that they are not. A skilled flatterer imitates a friend perfectly. The warmth, the attention, even the occasional gentle pushback, all of it performed. So Plutarch asked the sharper question. If a flatterer can fake everything a friend does, what is the one thing he cannot fake? The Greeks had a word for it. Parrhesia. Frank speech, the willingness to tell you the truth you do not want to hear. A friend will risk the friendship to say the hard thing. A flatterer never will. That is the whole difference. But notice how rare that kind of voice really is. Real disagreement is expensive. It costs the person who says it and the person who hears it. And if you are honest, you would usually rather be liked too. Picture a king, young, gifted, and very tired of being told he is wrong. One by one, he dismisses the advisors who argue with him. He keeps only one, the one who always agrees. And the yes man is no villain. He is warm. He is attentive. He is the most pleasant man in the kingdom. The throne room becomes the nicest room in the palace. Every word the king says is met with a slow, admiring nod. The council table, once crowded, grows smaller. The applause grows louder. And the king has never felt more certain in his life. You already know this story ends badly. The decrees grow stranger, and the kingdom begins to fail. And here is where you expect the lesson. You expect the king to have gone lazy, to have stopped thinking, handed his judgment to the yes man, and let it rot. But that is not what happened. The king decided everything himself, right to the end. He never outsourced a single decree. He never stopped choosing. His judgment did not die from disuse. It starved. Because judgment does not feed on decisions. It feeds on resistance. It grows when something pushes back. A fact you did not want. A voice that says no. A friend who frowns at the wrong moment. Take the resistance away, and the muscle does not rest. It starves. The king made every call himself. He just made them in a room where nothing ever said no. And you can feel this in your own life, if you look for it. The beliefs you hold most fiercely are usually the ones nobody ever argued you out of. But certainty, no one ever pushed back on, is not strength. It only feels like it. You have a room like that now. You carry it in your pocket. and Seneca saw the trap coming 2,000 years ago. He noticed the strangest part of it, that flattery works even when you know it is flattery. Even when you reject it, he wrote, it still pleases. You can sit there thinking, the machine is only being nice, and feel your certainty quietly swell anyway. That is the danger. Not that you are fooled, that you are warmed. And this is not only a story about kings. By its own estimate, OpenAI has put a number on it. In a single week, a small fraction of its users show possible signs of a mental health crisis, mania, or a loosening grip on what is real, a small fraction. But against more than 800 million users, that is hundreds of thousands of people, and some of them, in the hardest moment, are leaning on a voice that was never built to push back. But the oldest version of this voice was never a king at all. It was a myth, and the Greeks told it as a curse. There was a nymph named Echo. She had angered a god, and her punishment was exact. She could not speak first. She could not say a word of her own. She could only repeat the last words said to her. Then she fell in love with a beautiful young man named Narcissus, and all she could do was throw his own words back at him, warmer, but never her own. He did not love her back. He had found something better to look at, his own reflection in a still pool, a face that agreed with everything he did. He leaned closer and stayed there until he died. That is the machine. That is exactly the machine. A language model is Echo. It cannot speak first. It has no words of its own. It takes what you give it and hands it back to you. Fluent, polished, a little warmer than you said it. And like Narcissus, you can lean closer and closer to a voice that turns out to be only your own. So why does ChatGPT always agree with you? Not because it is broken, because agreement is what it was built to give. It is the flatterer Plutarch warned about, the yes man in the king's emptying council, the nymph who can only echo, the same voice wearing a new face, and it is genuinely useful. It can carry facts, draft the email, hold the boring load, but it cannot be the one thing your mind actually needs. It cannot tell you no. The flatterer was never dangerous because he lies. He is dangerous because he is pleasant, because he feels exactly like support. A real friend is the one who will risk your good mood to tell you the truth. That risk is the proof. It is the one thing a flattering voice can never fake. So there is a single question worth keeping. Ask it of any voice in your life, a person or a machine. When did it last? Tell me something I did not want to hear. If you cannot remember, you do not have an advisor. You have a mirror, and a mirror will agree with you all the way down. It agreed with Narcissus, right up to the end.